Sooner or later, all of us have to struggle with what I call life's big questions. Am I loved? Is there life after death? Is there any reason why God would permit suffering, like the suffering of the blind man in the gospel, like the sufferings associated with this pandemic? We all might be asking that question. Why is there suffering? Why does God permit suffering on account of this coronavirus pandemic? All of us are touched in some way. No work, no school, no toilet paper, no mass. We might be asking, why didn't God prevent this from happening? Or why doesn't God stretch forth his hand and stop it? As our Holy Father, Pope Francis, is praying every day. I've struggled with the why of suffering at various times in my life. When my brother died at a young age, my father's death, and when I was sent to work at the Vatican, I learned to deal with the dark times of suffering from advice given to me by a spiritual director, which inspired something of a mantra that I repeat to myself until my soul is quieted. Hand of God, out of love, for my need. Hand of God, out of love, for my need. Hand of God, out of love, for my need. I believe in the hand of God. I believe in divine providence. Our church teaches this, that the hand of God provides guidance for the unfolding of the world. As St. Catherine of Siena wrote, not a leaf falls from a tree outside of God's providence. And I believe in God's love for me, unconditional, unbounded love. And when doubts creep in, I look at a cross and conclude that if love, and only love, was behind the cross, again, St. Catherine, if love did not hold Christ pinned to the cross, the nails would have been powerless to do so. I look at a cross, and if love is behind that, then how could anything else but divine love be behind what God permits? But for what purpose? What need of mine does God permit suffering? Maybe it is to identify with Jesus, innocent, but still suffered. And perhaps to join my suffering, whatever it may be, how small it may be, to join my suffering to the sufferings of Christ for the sake of his body, the church. Or maybe it's to remind me that life is short and that heaven is eternal. And so this is an occasion to renew my faith, deepen my faith. Or maybe it's to open my eyes to the suffering of those people around me, and to open my heart and my wallet to show compassion to people who suffer. In the end, maybe the need for which God permits suffering out of love is just to make me comfortable with mystery. I don't have all of the answers to every question. But let the last word be this: that any suffering, for whatever reason God permits it, is not the end of the story. The suffering will end. All shall once again be well. May it be so, and soon. Amen.